Okay. Hey y'all, this is Shantae from Baltimore Core. I'm sitting here with Antoin, who is one of our Elevation Award winners for 2018.
Yes,
And
yes, yes,
why
yes.
don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about the HOPE program?
My name is Antoin Quarles, founder member of Hope Baltimore. Um, Myself, grew up here in West Baltimore, Ricestown and Bowman, Toronto's and Grantley, sold drugs throughout the city. Had a daughter at an early age, back forth in and out of prison for the last 20 years. Process of using, hustling, and every time I came home, like, my grandma used to always say, go get a job. And I would like go, but I didn't have certain things. I didn't have my diploma. So like,
it wasn't as simple.
it wasn't that
just
simple.
Go get a job.
I was working at temp places, and I was like, the money they giving me, rationally, mentally, I was like, I could make this selling drugs. But in the consequence, like, I never had a peer model that say like, instead of selling drugs, this is what can happen if you work. Go back to school, do this. And a lot of times these things were said, but graciously, like, I couldn't visual. So, in the last process, like, court 30 years for a legal sentence, gave 15 back. And in the process, they had labeled me as a high-risk target offender. And, basically, like, when I got released, I was released in a program that had all supportive measures and services right there for me. So I got a job within like 30 days out of home. I was in a safe place, and then when like something happened in the area, my case manager had got me moved from the transition house to somewhere else. And on Tuesday mentoring, so like in process, this worked for me. First time in 4 years, ever been home, no arrests, not pulled up, no violations. But in the process, able to give back and help a lot of guys that needed the same services that I had.
So you recognize that from going through that program, you recognize that this program could help others. So you took that model, or you used you drew from that model to kind of create your own model.
Yeah, it's basically like a similar map. The only difference is I was just an ex-offender. They came through the program, they completed the program, and then when it ended, I picked it up and found a way to put things back in place.
So you have greater insight in being able to really speak from your own experience.
Exactly.
I think coming from someone who's had that experience is probably more real for people.
Right, exactly. Like, people not gonna talk about the pressures that, like, when you get arrested and everything is cut off. You're not gonna talk about the trauma and effects that we ignore and go through this stuff. Like, this really just supposed to happen. But then, like, when you come back home and then, like, all kinds of visions and views and finger points are pointed at you, and all you trying to do is just find your way back in society. I ain't did anything, I ain't did nothing to you, so what's the poking for? Then one of the greatest things about doing this work was that there are areas that put up like $17 million and investments for prison. And I said, like, why can't a portion of that be used for opportunity? We're struggling in the community.
Right.
So I found some people and had some relief in me and said, okay, we're gonna support you. And one thing about,
how'd you go about finding people to support you? Did you just kind of meet them along the way? They were put in your path, or like how did that work?
I basically say, like, we was in the same space at that moment, being affected by after effects of incarceration. And I was a voice that could, like, literally break it down piece by piece of what happens, and then piece by piece of what can happen step by step with the right people and the right things in place to help. A lot of people think a lot of times, money, money, money. When I tell a lot of people, I need support, like helping develop. When I look at me, like, you don't want money, no, know, I just need somebody to help me with computers and stuff, because that ain't what I know. I know how to advocate. I know what goes on. I know the issues. I know the barriers. I know the barrier lines that people don't see that exist, and they have to climb and run into brick walls and don't know why they can't perform. So, you know, that was the blessingest thing. You know, it changed my life. Yeah.
So how did you come up with the HOPE that is, you know, based on that? Yeah, the acronym HOPE.
The acronym, you know, like when I was in the street hustling, getting high, came homeless and all that, and me and my guy, like, the kind of night, we used to always say, like, so how we gonna get out of this? And he used to like, yo, all we got is us. I hope you have my back just as much as I got your back. And in urban communities, that's what we see every day. You know, you see people trying to find a measure of how they gonna get over oppression, how they gonna find a way to find the right people to help them push forward to excel. You know what I'm saying? So like in Baltimore, they say killing, drug dealing, epidemics, prison, but they don't tell about the hope that been here. Red Fox, Sammy Davis Jr., Social, Nia Simone, all these people, Nikki, Monique and all these people that did great things. You know what I'm saying? So where's the hope in that? Why are you killing us with not giving us the hope, but giving us hopelessness, and then turn around and say, well, you people don't want nothing because you ain't stuck in a barrier and you want to stay there. But you ain't gave us nothing to find hope. So I'm like, gave some guys something, and every day they be like, man, thank you. And I'm like, nah, man, thank you, because you did the work. You showed me what I've been telling everybody can happen.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, it's a great it's a great story, and it's a great way that you kind of brought your own experiences to helping others, and the way that you've explained it. I think that's helpful for people out there to really understand where you're coming from with your program. Can you talk about how the Elevation Awards has helped your program to grow?
Elevation Award, like, it was like a dream, you know, man. When I applied,
what made you apply?
You know, somebody had told me about it.
Okay.
You know, and I had met Miss Ron Russell, and we had talked about an interview that guy told about something Dr. Sinclair had told her that I was doing. So she was like, I think you should like apply for this application. So, you know, I didn't know what to do. So they sent me a format. I put it together, and then I got somebody to help me to edit. And we sent it in. And then I was like, one day they was like, got an email, and they was like, congratulations. I was like, congratulations for what? He was like, you've been selected. You won the first round. I was like, first round? What? Then it came back again and was like, you've been selected to the second round with only 20 exists. And I was like, whoa. Then they was like, out of the 12, boom, Hope Baltimore been selected. I was like, Hope Baltimore, let's go. And I was like, told my guys, I said, man, we got one shot at this. We got one shot. I said I had one shot at everything in the streets, and I always wound up prison, provided, and hurt a lot of people. I got one shot where I want to do something that's going to make a remarkable story that can forever be talked about.
Nice.
So, I tell my daughter all the time, when people say, oh, you flourish yourself, you ought to say, well, yeah, now let's talk about the people we have helped stay out of prison. Let's talk about that.
Definitely.
Oh, I'll get back to you on that.
So let's kind of, because I kind of took you back to how you, what made you apply. Yeah. So but, how has the Elevation Awards helped you?
But like basically like the trans, they have like educated me on a lot of stuff that like I totally had no idea, clue about. You know, one thing that it made it comfortable with is though I could like come in and be able to be myself and excel. Nobody was like, oh, he ain't got this, he ain't had this. He ain't go to school for this. He shouldn't even be doing this. But it was like, what do you need? How can we assist? And I was saying, well, I can put these pieces together. I just need you to show me how to keep it together. You know, my motto that I always tell people is, I always like built things. Go-kart, basketball court, bikes. And I said, this time I got a bike that I really want to ride. And I wanted to ride and other guys to be able to ride along with me. And so like, I'm just on the training wheel process. You know what I'm saying?
But you're on the right.
Yeah,
That's what's up. So, what advice would you give the upcoming Elevation awardees for the new year? What advice could you give people that are interested in applying?
Don't let your idea or no one tell you that your idea can't work. Because like, if it's your passion, if it's you, then you know it works.
That's the truth.
You know what I'm saying? That's the facts. You know, but if it's for some money, publicity, and all that stuff, it ain't gonna work because like you gonna get worn out, tired out, and then you're gonna lose focus. You know, one of the things that I did experience and learn, you have to know your position, your passion, and not to excel out of it because you could lose yourself.
I'm sorry, you got that?
So you gotta have somebody that basically understands the same passion in a place that can do the work, that has the same vision, and let them do their part, and everybody can bring a piece together.
Okay. Well, thank you for talking with us today. Do you have, so what would be the best way for people to get in contact with you or reach out to your program if they want to help, if they want to volunteer, if they want to give towards your program? How can they get in contact with you?
They can email me at Antoin Quarles @gmail.com, or they can contact us at Helping Oppressed People Excel, Baltimore, gmail.com.
Spell it out, Helping Oppressed People Excel, Baltimore @gmail.com. Okay.
Or we on the Emmanuel website at Downtown Emmanuel.
Okay. DowntownEmmanuel.org.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a few ways.
Okay.
Or they can reach me at 443-449-4086. Plain and
okay.
simple. Text, however.
Okay.
You get me.
Well, thank you for sitting down with us today, and thank you for being a part of the Elevation Awards this year. We wish you the best, and as you move forward in your program, and remember that Baltimore Core is always here for you to reach out to as a resource and as a family.
Sure, I'm grateful